Hello and welcome. I'm Nuria. Today I'm going to talk about how to overcome or destroy that little demon inside of us, the ego. Healing the first resistance or the massive resistance to healing is the ego. The ego is the wounded child that refuses to heal. The ego is not real. It's not your real identity. It's not who you really are. It's a survival mechanism. It is a pattern of beliefs, thoughts, habits formed and shaped by family, trauma, expectation of society, parents, and your own interpretation of your experiences that has nothing to do with what you really deserve, with who you are. Built this identity over years, changing the patterns, returning to your authentic self, experiences or faces massive resistance from the ego. However, this resistance starts to fade when you see it for what it is. The ego strives to attain control over you through manipulation, deception, and lie. The wounded child that was neglected by parents believes that if they neglect their own need, if they stop asking for what they need and start giving what their parent wanted, that they can be loved. And as a child, you were praised for soothing the parent, for fixing problems. So it became an identity that continuously led to self-sacrifice to keep peace with others. The core of the fixer, the therapist, is manipulation. The child, to survive the traumatic experience, has learned that they have to suppress their own need. It is a form of manipulation. It is a choice driven by fear. Forgive yourself for you didn't know as a child. But now as an adult, you must never let that continue. So you must recognize that the biggest enemy you have is the ego. So how do you destroy or dismantle the ego so that you can become your authentic self? The ego has reduced you into a performer, a player of a role. Recognizing these patterns and breaking free from them. Being conscious of the patterns is the first step to healing. The more you create a space for yourself to feel the pain that you had suppressed for years, acknowledging the hurt, recognizing the hurt, grieving the loss, is a key to break from the chain of the ego. The ego has turned your pain into transaction, into a game of winning, losing. If I do this, I can control the world. That is selfish and entitlement, manipulative, deceptive character. So by consciously interrupting the toxic patterns and allowing yourself to be human, embrace your false sides. While your parents caused the damage, they are not responsible for your feelings. Owning your feelings by avoiding blame for how you feel. Ego strives at blaming your parents for how you feel. That is control mechanism. Your parents are who they are. They were not loving, so they did not love you. The fact now that you don't love yourself is a trap to blame them. You do not need the permission of your parent to love yourself. You do not need the permission of your parent to feel worthy. By having a daily connection with God, nurture your soul, reconnect with your authentic self, and see the favors of God in your life. Also, turning the pain into purpose, asking yourself what it had taught you, what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate following that experience. By grieving the loss, the pain, the hurt, you have learned that the kind of people like your parents, unavailable, toxic, you will not allow them into your life. People who carry similar energy, you will not allow them into your life. But you also nurture yourself. You give yourself the emotional validation, the support. Having daily self-care routines, replacing the toxic patterns that urge you to follow a pattern, to hide yourself behind busy schedule, behind overworking, reacting to failed plans, recognizing these patterns that made you to hide yourself, to avoid facing the pain. By recognizing these patterns and slowing down, embrace who you are fully, allow yourself to feel, to heal, to connect with your authentic self, with God, to build the life that honors you. The more you have connection with God, the more you have closeness with God, the false beliefs, unworthiness, inadequacy start to weaken. And also, you'll be able to separate the ego from your authentic self. That little voice will become weaker as you connect more with God and with your authentic self. Cutting off with all toxic people removes external negative influence and negative triggers, and internally destroying that little voice, that demonic voice that tells you are not enough, you're not worthy, that egoistic, helps strengthen your authentic self. If you found this video helpful, for more, click on subscribe, like and share. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.